You know what show I've been
No.
watching that kind of feels like the old Louis show? The show Rami
Hmm.
on Hulu.
Oh, really?
It's this
Who's
kid,
that?
Rami Youssef. He's a comedian and he kind of has his own like kind of like the old FX style show, and it's on Hulu. Man, it gets
Hmm.
so fucking crazy, that show.
It's like the old Louis shows or like the newer
The
ones.
one that was on FX for years.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
one's
kind
cool.
of has that kind of vibe where like it's like a guy who can't get out of his own way. It's fun if you like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I do. I used to really love his show.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of Louis C.K.
And yeah, yeah.
prior to his mishaps. And
Uh,
I tried to get over it. It was weird. It was like I well, I didn't find that he showed much like attrition for what
yeah,
he did. And then I listened back to some like skits that are about like his wife and like women in general.
yeah,
You kind of like hear it, you know?
yeah.
Like, where you're like, "Oh, like this actually sort of adds up like someone who thinks like that, you know?"
Right. And like
Um
you tried to separate it in like your mind, be like, oh, he's not really like that.
Well, you know what it is? The thing that happened with me and him is like it shattered the illusion because
Hmm.
the one thing I always liked about him was like, I'm like, okay, here's a person who sees things almost as like darkly as I do,
Yeah.
but gets over it enough to just be like a dad and like a normal person and like, so the idea that like it no like he wasn't funny to me after that because it was based on the fact that like he was only like thinking about being creepy, you
Yeah.
know? Like I want to be I'm like the darkest person ever, but I choose to like exist in this world and try,
Yeah.
you know? So that's where like I used to connect with it in that way. And then like once I found out he was actually doing fucked up shit,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, that now it's, like, ruined the whole illusion," you know?
Let me tell you, like I've seen it firsthand doing these like open mics and like stand up and stuff like that. And people try out an idea at first. And they get laughs in a room, and next thing you know, they're doing like a gig that's somewhat paid, and they buy into the character that they become because it's the only place that they've ever kind of found acceptance. And I think that
Sure,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure that's what happened to him.
Yeah, it makes sense. I could see it so easily being the same as, like, musicians in that way, because
Mhm.
you're usually not becoming a really successful comedian because of, like, how well-adjusted and popular you are, you know? Like, it's probably pretty fucked up people internally that
Yeah,
are becoming great comics and then they're yeah, so exposed.
yeah.
I just heard a funny Chappelle. Have you ever heard Chappelle's bit about like Michael Richards?
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, as a man, I hated him, but as a comedian, I was like, oh, he's fucking bombing tonight. I feel bad for him,